Is the new Ash better or worse than previous Ashes? I'm curious what you think. Well, people are talking about the new Pokémon Coco movie, and so of course they're talking about the new Ash because guess what? They've changed Ash's design yet again. So for today's quick chat, I'm going to do a quick recap of all of Ash's designs so far in the anime, and then we'll take a look at the new design and see how it measures up against what we've seen previously. Here we go. So we're going to take a look at all of Ash's major design changes in the anime before we talk about his fresh look in Pokémon Coco, and I'll give my take on the designs as we go along, but these are just my opinions. What do you think? Which was the best Ash design to date? Okay, so starting in 1997, we have the original design. You've got the dad sneakers, the dad jeans, those iconic fingerless gloves, a rounder head than in later designs, and we wouldn't have this long line of evolutions to even look at if it didn't start here. So I guess it automatically gets classic status. Moving into 2002, we got into the advanced segment of the anime, and I don't have much to say about this design except the pants started getting baggier and he looks a little bit ratty and weird. I think this marked the beginning of a bit of a decline in the quality of Ash's character design. And then in 2006, Diamond and Pearl, this only continued. We've got these weird MC Hammer pants, this weird yellow and green combination that just looks kind of messy in my opinion. I have to say this is my least favorite Ash design in the whole anime, although if you just look at his portrait profile, looks alright. In 2010, the black and white anime kicked off, and they toned things down and changed the pants to a neutral gray, which I thought was a really great choice. No large amounts of Fisher-Price yellow and green here. Cool shoes, looks decent. Finally, in 2013, we had the XY anime starting off, and I have to say that at last in 2013 we got an Ash design that just says, hey, I'm actually a badass trainer. The high tops, the tapered pants, the wiry build that makes him look a lot more mature, the color palette, which isn't such an attack on the eyes, everything just exudes coolness. Let me know your thoughts, but from what I understand, a lot of fans regard this as the top Ash, and I also thought he looked really cool in XY. Then from 2016 we had Sun and Moon, and Ash's design in this anime has been fairly polarizing. A lot of people don't really like it, but I personally fall in the other camp. I quite like this. The subdued colors, not overdoing it with a really spastic arrangement of colors like in Diamond and Pearl, kind of like XY's look, but it gives off this soft, pleasant, relaxing vibe, just like the Sun and Moon anime itself. Interestingly, they also finally ditched his iconic fingerless gloves in this design. I guess those would get really sweaty and nasty in Alola. And then quite recently, in 2019, we got the new Pocket Monsters anime. Not too bad looking. They brought back that weird green, however, with the more subdued color palette, it doesn't look too bad. And I think it's a really decent blend of what they did in Sun and Moon, along with bits and pieces of some of the older Ash designs. He has a popped collar like back in 2006, and bigger pupils, and I don't love it, but I think it's a pretty decent design in the scope of what we've looked at. And I'm sure it really appeals to those who like a really cartoony, vibrant look. Before we jump into the 2020 design, I have to say that on the whole, I'm really not a fan of bringing together too many hyper-saturated colors. I think it starts to get way too busy, and this ultimately takes away from the character's identity. So this is just my opinion, but I personally feel that from 2002 to 2012 was not a particularly great time in terms of Ash's character design. On the other hand, as far as my favorite design goes, in my opinion, peak awesomeness came with X and Y, because he's got that Ikemen Badman trainer look, on par with Red, and not to mention that it was also a really great segment of the anime in general. Coolness breeds coolness, I guess. And putting the regular anime aside, I'm not going to go into Ash's look in every single movie, but I wanted to mention that I'm very fond of how he looks in The Power of Us. It might even be my favorite design of all. I just love the soft color palette they adapted from Sun and Moon, and although I would have personally dropped the yellow altogether, the accents on the collar and the base of the coat, they don't look too bad. And I also think that the gray pants and the black shirt with the open jacket give a sort of balance to the character that just lets you appreciate the overall design so much more than, say, the advanced or Diamond and Pearl outfits, which just kind of smashed your eyes with colors and kind of made him look like I looked when I was a kid, which was not cool at all. But The Power of Us, it essentially merges together the best elements of the Sun and Moon and XY designs, and I think it looks super cool. So that's how Ash has evolved over the years, and now 2020's Pokemon movie, Pokémon Coco, brings an altogether new look to the table. Just kidding, here it is. So understandably, the design carries quite heavily from 2019's Pocket Monsters Ash, but they've added a Pokeball to his shirt, they've ditched the green straps in favor of black, which I thought was great, and they've given him the classic trainer hat, and they've also chosen to give him some nice white high tops instead of the fairly standard shoes he's sporting in the new Pocket Monsters anime. And I guess that overall, you could say he has a certain gentleness to his look, but at the same time, looks more grown up than he does in Pokemon Sun and Moon or Pocket Monsters. So what do you think? That's the new Ash. I think he looks pretty good, and as it stands, I'd probably place this design in the top 4 or 5 designs, but how about you? How would you rate this Ash design, and which Ash design is the best that we've seen so far?